here I am standing in front of a judge pleading for just a little longer so that I can prove to you I can support a little child that doesn't weigh quite 20 pounds.
Finally got the kids to sleep, man, so I'm just chilling and wanted to put some words to the video, man, and put out another pod, man. So I hope everybody is doing good, man. The family is doing good, wife and kids, everybody straight, man. So what I wanted to get into today was just the theme is just coping in terms of just we as people in society, man. We go through a lot. And I feel like we all got different ways of just handling certain situations in life. But before I get into that, man, as you know, I played ball. Basketball was a big part of my life. So I was just doing some thinking just in terms of like student athletes, the college game, the dynamics of that whole situation and where players are today. And me personally, the future of basketball in terms of like young men and the youth, I feel should just be like thrown out the window and something new should be created. What I personally feel is I think college and sports should be separated. Because today I feel like there's no such thing as a student athlete. You're getting paid to play, which I'm not mad at. And I feel like it's hard to get an athlete to want to be the best at a sport, to be dedicated to a sport. On top of that, try to be a student. Now, and especially if it's an athlete with pro aspirations and the odds of them going to the next level is pretty high. They not focusing on school. They might not even do their own schoolwork, to be honest. And you look at, and I'm mainly talking about basketball right now too, not just, college sports as a whole, but basketball in particular. If you look at the game overseas in Europe, like a lot of those kids, they go pro early, but they play on like lower level leagues. They might play on like a kids team or a teenage team that is a pro team, and they just stay in the feeder system, and they slowly move up, year by year as they get better. And I feel like that same template could be used in the American basketball system. I feel like instead of kids having to go to college right away or JUCO right away, I think the age of AAU should be extended, and I think the whole the system of AAU should be basically evolved into a real league. A real youth league, a league that probably I know AAU lasts probably like 5 months, but it should be turned into an actual league for kids ranging from little all the way up to like I'll probably say damn near 21. Have it be a league that kids go to and they can play probably 4 to 5 months out the year, and it's an actual league where they every city has a couple teams, and those teams travel the country and just play each other, and these kids can be just strictly dedicated to the game of basketball. They can still go to school, learn their studies, but I would say that league would take precedent over high school basketball. Instead of playing high school basketball, you play AAU, or you can you can still have the option to play high school basketball, but AAU will basically evolve into like a feeder team. So I know a lot of NBA players, own teams now and sponsor teams, or they could just take it to the next level. And now, gyms could be built, gyms could be rented out, and these teams, could be a big deal. Each city has a couple teams, marketing could be pushed, teams could be promoted. And the kids, they already making money from AAU, so why not, make it into a more serious situation. That way kids can, be groomed and get the, treatment of how NBA life is. Not to the extent of an 82 game season, but maybe like a 40 game season. Where they already play that now with, kids traveling and playing AAU. But I think that league should be, AAU should evolve. And I think even in college, man, I don't think it sounds crazy, but I think colleges should separate their sports teams from the college and just make it a club team. Give these kids scholarships, but don't have it be where they got to go to school, because these kids ain't taking school serious, man. That's just the honest truth, man. They going to school because it's a requirement, you know what I'm saying, for them to play sports. But at the end of the day, man, they there to play sports. So why not just make the main thing and let them just play sports in terms of basketball? I know they got overtime elite. They got that, situation if you don't want to, go to the traditional college, and they got you can go overseas. But I just think there should be a feeder system catered for young players when they get out of high school or even still in high school, to just dedicate themselves, if they feel they're good enough, to just work on their game. And that way, to me personally, it's a win-win, because now colleges are going to have kids who want to be there. They want to be there to go to school. They're not there to play sports. They're there for school. They can have an intramural team, but the kids who are there to go to school are there for school. The kids who are on the club team, they're there to play sports. It's no more, athletes faking the funk and pretending like to care about school. No, they gonna go and be a part of a sports team. So that's more so my thoughts on what I think, basketball should turn into. I think we should kind of follow the template that's set overseas, because a lot of these kids overseas, man, they in basketball academies. They studying the game. They playing the game. They going pro earlier, and I feel like that same thing could be implemented over in America, man. That's why you see so many pros, man. The league is dominated by overseas cats, and I think that would be something to help grow our game in America. Them just my thoughts. I ain't saying I'm wrong. I ain't saying I'm right. That's just my opinion, man. But and again, man, shout out to Milwaukee Juno, man. They made it to state. Hopefully them young boys take care of business and bring home the gold ball. But if they don't, man, I'm still proud of those guys, man. Proud of the guys I know, GB, Gary, Julian. Shout out to Coach Torrey. Them dudes doing big things for the city, man. So congrats to them and all the rest of the the teams that made it upstate, man. Y'all take advantage of the opportunity, man, to live in the moment, man. I know we went to state my junior year in high school, and it was a dope experience, man. Unfortunately, we fell short, but man, I'll never forget the experience getting out of school, man. Going with your guys upstate to play, man. It was electric in there, playing at the Kohl Center. So, man, again, shout out to Juno, shout out to Wisconsin Lutheran and all the other schools, who went up to state, man. But just in terms of like coping, man, I feel like I can speak on my situation for my job, man. My job is stressful, it's tough, and it'll push certain buttons in you that just, I don't know, man. It could weigh on you, it could wear on you, it could just, it could just cause you to just be beat down in certain situations. And when you come home, it's like, man, what can I do now to like get those feelings, or suppress those feelings, man? Get rid of some of this stress. What can I do to cope? And I feel like I'm not the only one who's who feels that, or just about their situations in life, man. What can I do to cope, man? What can I do to unwind? What can I do? What thing can I do to take my mind off of like the everyday stresses of working a demanding job, having to come home, take care of my kids, be with my wife, and still try to maintain sanity. So what can I do to cope, man? And unfortunately, man, like in life, some people don't make the best decisions, man. Addiction comes around, drugs, gambling, prostitution, women, like porn, whatever you want to say, man. There's so many things out there that people just gravitate to cope, because life is just, man, it's so heavy at times. Like, one of my best friends in high school, man, rest in peace to my guy Matt Pompey. I don't know what he was going through in his life at the time. I know his dad, unfortunately, was dealing with some of the same situations he dealt with. But I lost my guy, I want to say almost 10 years ago to substance abuse. And just with my guy Matt, man, that was unfortunately, man, that was probably just something he was doing to cope, man. At the end of the day, man, when we go home and we gotta live with what we going through, sometimes it's hard when you don't got somebody checking up on you. When you don't have a positive outlet to go to relieve stress, or just somebody just to talk to. And unfortunately, with my guy Matt, man, that addiction probably just snuck up on him, and he just couldn't shake it, man. Like, one of my biggest regrets for my guy Matt is when I went to his funeral, and I was just like scared to speak and say something about him. When the pastor asked, was there anybody who wanted to say anything on Matt's behalf, I was just nervous, man. His mom is there, his family is there, and they don't know me. So I didn't want to overstep in the moment. But if I could say anything about my guy Matt, man, just one of the silliest, goofiest guys you'll ever meet, man. One of the funniest memories I got of my dog is, man, I'm in religion class, Miss Foster. I'm trying to pay attention, man, be studious and do what I'm supposed to do. And I turn my head and I see Matt just biting down on a banana in a very sexual way that probably shouldn't be done in religion class. But that was my guy, Matt. Just the 1 minute you loved him to death, the next minute you wanted to strangle him. But it's like, at the end of the day, you loved him to death, man. You couldn't have one without the other. Matt was a big basketball fan. He loved ball. We would talk about ball all day in class, man, especially around this time with March Madness going on, man. He was heavy into the tournament, just a basketball fanatic like I was. And I think that was why we were so close, man. And me and him also was really close with he was my coach at the time, and our guidance counselor, Mark Nagel. And Nagel would always call us Pace and Pompey, man. So that was my brother. I miss Matt to this day. Like, seriously, to this day, man. If I could see him again, man, we would chop it up and laugh and just goof around like we always did, man. But just in terms of like just coping, man, I wish I could have been that phone call Matt would make to as a coping mechanism to kind of get off some of the stress he was going through, or just some of the stuff he was going through in that time being, instead of like him turning to what he turned to. But again, man, I just want to tell, his family, his sister, man, I love your brother to death. And if there's anything y'all need from me, man, I'm an open book, man. Y'all can hit me up and I got y'all. But that's why it's so important just to have, positive outlets to go to when stuff just getting too heavy. And I know just in my situation, when I was, being a trucker, man, dealing with that, man, sometimes you just come home and you just had it, man. You not dealing with the best of people in our line of work. Some of these people you go to who work at these restaurants and some of these owners, they overwhelm themselves. So when they see us, they might have attitudes, they might be stressed out, they might be, who knows what they going through. So we don't always get smiles and, greetings of joy. We might get attitudes. We might get somebody being stank. We might get all of that. And it's up to us to still be professional. We might have loads that are not put together right. We might have pallets that are wrong. We might have, management on our butts asking why we behind in the day. It's just so much stuff. And I feel like when you don't have an appropriate outlet to go to, sometimes it's easy to turn to certain things just to cope, man, just to just to feel good for two minutes out the day. And I've definitely tried to do a better job at, telling people what I'm going through, talking to my wife and letting her know that I had a day that was like super heavy. I had a situation that actually just happened. What was that? I think Wednesday. I had a 22 stop day, heavy day that ranged from Cudahy to Bayview to West Dallas, and it finished in South Milwaukee. So I was all over the place. I get to my last stop, and I'm just over it. I'm beat up. I'm tired. I'm sore, and I had to double park. And it was this car that pulled up, and this lady that got out the car, and she kind of reminded me of my grandmother Daisy Pace, who passed away, a few years back. But if you knew my grandma, she was the most loving, mean, sweetest, I'll whoop your ass lady if you mess with my family. That was just her. Like, and I miss my grandma to death, man. I was thinking about this earlier, man. Like, I love my wife to death, and please don't get it twisted. I would do anything for my wife. But my grandmother, I would say, is the one person I would never in life get loud with. I wouldn't get loud with my mama, but I would definitely give my mama faces if I was angry at her. But my grandma Daisy, my grandma Barbara too, but my grandma Daisy, like, I think that was the one lady who could do no wrong in my book. And I feel like she saw me as the same, like I could do no wrong in her eyes. I was always her baby. Like, my grandma always made me laugh. She was one of those ladies who, like, just, I don't know. She had me by her fingertips, and I think it was vice versa with me. But one of the things, like, my grandmother always had that just kind of, just struck me to my soul was her laugh. And my grandma always embraced me and hugged me and kissed me. So I tell you that to say, like, this lady, she got out her car, she was honking at me. So she honked once, so I'm thinking she was going to ride by, because I left her enough space to get through the road. But I think, she probably wasn't the strongest driver. So she honked again. And right when I seen what she looked like and she came out the car, I just had to laugh. And I said, ma'am, like, how can I help you? And she like, you're in the street, you're in the road, I can't get through. She's like, you think I can get through? I'm like, ma'am, yes, you can. She's like, well, can you help me get through? And mind you, it's more than enough space to get through. So she get in her car, I help her through, and she get through. She make it through easily, like I told her. And then when she get through, she actually get out the car and like give me the biggest hug ever. And I mind you, I don't know this lady. Like, I don't know her. And to be fair, like, in South Milwaukee, it ain't too many black people in South Milwaukee. So the fact that she was out there just was kind of strange. But like, she gave me the biggest hug, and it just made me think of my grandma. And I think in that moment, I feel like God was throwing me an olive branch, man. Cause I told my wife, like, in that moment, you could have gave me some money. You could have gave me a car. You could have gave me any type of materialistic thing, and it wouldn't have made me feel the way that lady made me feel. To give me a hug after the day I was having, it just, I don't know. It was able to get me through that day and help me finish the day and make it home. And when I told my wife, I broke down and told my wife, because I miss my grandma, man. But just in that moment, to get that, that type of love, it was able to, overcome the stress I was dealing with. And the point is, man, I just feel like we all need love like that in our life, whether it be from a spouse, family, maybe it's an activity, just something positive that we can do that can help us just deal with, everyday life. Life ain't supposed to be easy. We got to work. We got to provide for ourselves. We got to take care of our families. And that's not easy, man. We're going to have to do a lot of things in life we don't want to do. But sometimes it can get heavy. And I feel like in those moments, you feeling overwhelmed, you feeling stressed, it's easy to turn to certain things for a quick fix, a pleasure, a quick fix to get your mind off of just life in general. And I think, unfortunately, man, that's what my guy Matt was going through but he just couldn't shake it in time. But I would just want to encourage anybody, man, if you're going through something in life and you just feel like life getting too heavy, man, don't go through that alone. Unfortunately, like, the same situation ended up happening with my father-in-law. Like, rest in peace to my father-in-law, Chris Thompson. One of the best memories I got with him before he passed was, I asked him to marry his daughter. I stepped out in the hallway with him. Me and him, I think before that conversation, I'm not gonna say there was beef. It wasn't no beef, but we had never really talked, one-on-one before. So when I called him out to the hallway, I could see like the hesitancy in his voice a little bit and just in his posture. But when I asked him to marry, his daughter, like, he just, a sense of relief came up on him. I think he thought I was gonna swing on him or something like that. But like, he was happy. He said yes right away. And I told him, like, man, Chris, I'm here to help, bruh. Like, I know you going through what you're going through, but if you need some help, man, just tell me, and I got you. And I was able to, chop it up with Chris, and I got him an interview at the job I was at the time where I was working, and he went to the interview. My boss liked him. Unfortunately, he didn't get the job, but like, he had an outlet, and that's what I would tell anybody, man. Like, when life get heavy, man, don't curl up in a ball and turn to certain things that at the end of the day just gonna put you in a bigger hole. And I think just the way the climate of today is set up with social media and just everything is easy to access, man. So it's easy to dig yourself into a hole. But I would say when you find something positive, something you could, that's going to uplift you and put good things into you, man, hold on to that. At the end of the day, the ultimate thing is Christ, is God. But sometimes, God actually works through people and he works through things, man. So don't be afraid to say you need some help. I know at times I'll be needing help, like for real. Like, I feel like I got to be this strong guy and not say what my problems are and tuck everything. But sometimes on the inside, it's just like, it just feel like I'm imploding. But I got to shout out, my guys, Walter Cullen, I got to shout out my guy, Trav Handy, somebody who recently called and checked up on me to make sure I was good. And just whole bunch of other people, guys who I can call. My guy, Josh Van Every, Marcus Mack, man, a bunch of guys. If I am going through something, I can call and they'll pick up the phone and they'll, help me work through something. So, yeah, shout out to them guys for real. But, yeah, man, if you need some help, if you're going through something, man, don't be afraid to say something, because I don't want anybody to go through what my guy Matt went through or my father-in-law went through, man, and it'd be too late, especially just with addiction, drug abuse and all of that. Is ways to combat that. And but yeah, again, just rest in peace to those guys, man. I love my guy Matt. I can't say it enough. I love my father-in-law. It was unfortunate that he couldn't be here to see, his daughter get married and his grandkids be born and all of that. But Chris always gonna remain in our hearts. We got his picture up. We actually got his ashes here too. So, Chris always gonna be a presence in our household. But man, that's pretty much it, man. That's all I got to say, man. To the men, man, y'all not alone, man. Keep grinding. Keep doing what you got to do to provide, but also know, man, when you need some time to unwind, when you need time to let somebody know you need some help, man, do that. And I got to give a shout out to my guy, Walter Cullen. So I thought this was going to be winded down, but I got to speak on my guy one time. So with me, I would say, I'm not going to say it's trauma because I'm not going to go that deep with it, but I've had relationships with, guys who I thought were my best friends in the past, end without no real closure, without no real, I think we should go our separate ways. It was just, an argument or a disagreement may happen and then, okay, we can't talk anymore. So it's like, dang, man, like years of friendship just gone after this. We can't get through this. We can't figure this out. It's just, you don't want to talk to me no more. And I'm not the perfect person, bro. I got flaws like the next man. But it would be nice to know, like, man, like, you my guy. I got love for you. And I know you're not perfect. And this is something that you did that I don't like, but we're going to work through this. I'm not going to abandon you as a friend. So that's something I do. I kind of always hold to my heart. And I ain't going to say struggle with, but I'm aware of. So, like, you know, over the last couple months, man, me and Walter, we done got close. We was able to link and do certain things. And I view Walter as a, you know, kind of an outlet, you know, to get stuff off and, you know, talk with, and like just somebody I could vent to. And we kind of we ain't had no misunderstanding, but like Walter he's a busy man, and we were supposed to do a pod Saturday, but I couldn't do the pod. So I was actually trying to get in contact with Walt like the past couple days, and I wasn't able to get in touch with him. And I'm like, oh man, Walt, come on, bruh. Don't tell me you did the same thing to me too, man. But we was able to link and talk, and like, you know, we all good now. It was never no issue, but we was able to talk, you know, through it. He explained to me, man, he just got all these things on his plate. He a busy dude, and I appreciated the conversation. But like, again, man, like, I value relationships like that more so is what I'm trying to say. Like, and I have gone through situations where I thought, you know, this guy was my brother, but we have friction, and then that's the end of our relationship. And that doesn't sit well with me to this day. So to know that I got somebody like Walt in my life who could be, you know, another outlet, to know like that, to think that was gone after like nothing, was like, oh no, man, don't do me like that. But like, that wasn't the case. So again, man, shout out to my guy Walt, and to those, you know, those friendships that I talked about ending, man. Best of luck to those guys. I'm not one to hold grudges, but like, I do wish that, you know, those situations ended well. It's a bunch of situations in my life that I wish, you know, could have ended well. Like, I understand why they ended, but I'm not the biggest fan of how they ended. So if I could go back and like change those things, I would. But man, that's life sometimes, man. Everybody not meant to be in your life forever. So again, man, best of luck to those people. You know, best of luck to all y'all, man. Hopefully y'all hear my heart when I'm, you know, the words I'm saying tonight, man. And just keep rocking with me. Keep rolling with me and keep following the progress, man. That's what all we trying to do at the end of the day, man. And if y'all could help me out, man. So I have a gym that I like to shoot my pods at, but unfortunately, like, it's one of those situations where like I have to get there early, and I don't have control over the gym. So if we shooting a pod and there's other people that want to shoot, I can't tell them like, no, you can't shoot, I'm shooting a pod. So if you got any recommendations on like gym access where I could like rent a gym for like an hour, or somebody could let me use a gym for an hour uninterrupted, man, that would be great, just for what I got going on and what I'm trying to do. But outside of that, man, I love y'all, man. Y'all stay smooth, man. God bless all y'all, man. From Cut Talk, Mark Pace, we out.
Here I am standing in front of a judge pleading for just a little longer so that I can prove to you I can support a little child that doesn't weigh quite 20 pounds.